minute, any minute. We're live. All right. All right. So that's the order we'll go. And we'll just start with this. Warning, spoilers ahead. Constant Collectible hereby is absolved of responsibility of any content spoiled for the viewer. Hey, everybody. This is Simon with Constant Collectible, along with this guy.
Oh, me. I'm Chad.
That is
also
Chad.
From ConstantCollectible.com.
You are, and tonight we are on episode 14 of Spoil It. That's right, spoil it, because we like to spoil things. Not my milk, not my fruits and veggies, but TV shows and movies. I like to spoil those for people. Tonight we're gonna got the final episode of season 1 of Taboo. We have season 2, episode 6 of The Expanse, and Star Wars Rebels, season 3, episode 16. So let's just jump right in. Let's just go out with the bang for the season finale of Taboo. Where I say this all the time, but like where to begin? I guess where we begin is the end of episode 7,
right,
where he's, James Delaney is in the tower. He's being abused. He's being tortured. And all he wants to do is talk to the head of the East India Company, Strange. I was going to say Stephen Strange for a second there, but it's not Stephen Strange. Can't remember what his first name is. And, last words was, I need you. I can use you, or I have a job for you. I can't remember exact
I have a
phrase.
job for you.
I have a job for you.
I have a need for you.
Or I need you too. I need you to listen. No, I'm just kidding, because I'm all over the place. And this last episode, there were some slow parts, but I tell you what, it built up pretty quickly. It was pretty cool. Tied up some loose ends. Got really fun in there with some of the things that they were doing. So basically, as James is, sitting in prison, there is letters go out to everybody who is involved in Delaney's
Which
crew.
you need to reiterate that too, because those letters were pre-written.
Yes.
And put in the safe like days before he was actually arrested.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because he gave the boy the key to the safe.
Right.
And then the boy knew exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and sent out all those letters to everybody. So let's see, Lorna, Atticus, Michael, everybody, and what their role was and what is going to happen, which I thought was fantastic. All along, he's been saying, I have a ship. Don't worry about it. I got a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be fine. And for some characters, yes. For some, not so much.
Right. Well, it's funny because the head of the East India Company thought he had an ace in the hole, which we didn't really find out. We didn't even know until this last episode that the so-called American spy that was working with Delaney, we thought he was only working for the Americans, but in reality, this guy had been caught previously and was working for the East India Company.
Yep.
So that comes into effect during this episode when Delaney confronts him, and he knows precisely who he is, that he is a traitor, and that the role that this guy pulls out to have Delaney sign is to transfer the properties of this Tuca Sound, whatever, to the East India Company. And Delaney knows it's coming. And so it comes back to this whole taboo, just like it's titled, that he is in the dark arts. I mean, he knows what's coming down the pipe. He sees these things. He is planning everything so far out in advance. And not only does it take, some mystical stuff that's going on, but that is a man with some high intelligence too. So
yeah,
everything culminated. I mean, it built and built and built to this last episode, and literally the fireworks went off. It was some great action. A lot of things came to a close. There's a few openings that were left in the show, which I think that just leaves it open for another season, which is
Please.
kind of cool.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So everybody knew what to do, where to do it, when to do it. We get this final shootout scene at the docks as they're basically trying to get to their ship. The American spy is dealt with and removed, per Delaney himself. And there's a lot of characters that bit the dust in this episode
Yeah.
that I was hoping that we would be able to see, in the next series, if they do another series. There's some that may or may not make it. We don't know yet. But ultimately we're done in England. We are now heading to the next part of this story.
Which we also tell it. I mean, we're done in England basically because the three head people of the East India Company are dead. They met their demise so fittingly in this last episode. Especially how the actual head was blown up in his own office, because he thought he had the ace in the hole.
Yeah.
It was just, oh man, it was so beautiful how that was done.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Right. But I think my favorite part of the last two episodes is of Lorna Bow really coming into her own, especially in this last episode when she confronted the female head for the American spy agency. And she actually, when she was asked, who are you? And she said, I'm Mrs. Delaney. She goes, oh, so you're his wife? No, I'm his mother. And so it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
And I like, because of her, we find out who killed Winter.
Yes.
Which was fantastic. And I love that when we break them out of prison, basically, the gentleman who escorts them was the one who did it. He's
killed,
and they know that he did it, and he kept pleading, no, we had a deal, and bummer for you. That was awesome. I loved that. It was great, with what they did and how they did it.
Oh, he and that other guy were such weasels, man.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. But I did not see Strange's death. I didn't see that coming. When he goes to open it up, he's all celebrating. Yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And then, he sits down, looks at his thing. And then next thing you know, we pan outside the building, and I went, oh no. And boom, it blew up the East India Company office. I love the way this one ended with, Delaney telling Atticus that, about the gunpowder. And he's like, I thought the gunpowder was for the Americans. And Delaney's like, we are Americans. And then the flag switches, because now they're going to find, what's the name of the character that is overseeing Carlsbad. There was another character that they're going to hunt down and find, which I really hope that we do get another season. Give me the 8 episodes. I thought it was great. I thought that was just enough for this, story. And I'm hoping that FX decides to move forward with it.
Well, I'm curious. I'm curious if they actually did away with his sister's character, Zilpha. Because he sat there in the house, kind of half crying, saying that if she were dead, she would be singing to him. And I'm not sure if that part, on the boat or wherever he was standing, whether that was coming to fruition, like she actually did die or what. So it's kind of hard to tell whether she's actually dead right now or not. I was hoping there would be more with her. something to transpire between the
Yeah.
two. Something. But if they did end up actually doing with the character, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I like the complexity of her because she was so messed up. When he returned from Africa, everyone's getting on him because he's crazy, but she actually had this huge internal struggle because they're not actually brother and sister; they're only half brother and sister, and they did have this weird kind of sick love for one another or whatever. But I was hoping there would be something more that transpired between the two, but obviously it didn't. Um, so yeah, but it altogether, I mean, this was a brilliant episode in my opinion. The shootout was cool.
Yeah.
I love that. It's unfortunate about Franca's character, her getting shot, but you can tell that Lorna Bow, because she got shot, in the side, or I think it's just the side over here or something. That she was well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he's really, really warming up to her.
Yes.
Hoping that there's something that transpires between those two, because it was really just kind of this ugly fate that brought those two together. And she's, I think, really growing to actually like him very much so.
Yeah, I agree.
Not only is he her outlet of getting the hell out of London and starting anew, but I think she's starting to really develop feelings for him.
Yeah, it is coming across that way, which is kind of nice as well.
I like this cast.
Yeah. I really hope that the chemist survives.
Yeah, that's a weird dude.
Yeah, I love his character.
Oh
that guy cracks me up. He is a Mad Hatter, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when his letter got delivered, the kid ran the room and he's propped up against a cupboard sleeping, passed out because he's just drunk, and it looks like he had some like cocaine or something on his nose. But you got that girl half naked, in the bed. The boy kind of looks down at her like, oh, here, you have a letter.
Yeah. What is it? And then he's like, what does it say? Because I don't know. I just delivered the letters and then took off.
Not only that, but he's like, how does Delaney find me?
Yeah.
Which everyone would during his arrest, actually after his arrest, all these characters started dispersing.
That's right. You're right.
And going to hideaways, but Delaney knew where they were going. It is spooky but cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'll end up doing is probably giving it a month or two and then going back and rewatching.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a good series. If I do recommend it for everybody. I think it was fun.
And it's gotten some real mixed reviews too online, which whatever. I don't, it is what it is. But the reviews are more on the positive side.
Yeah. They started like growing in numbers of, here it was this and everybody wasn't quite sure, but as the episodes grew, the reviews got better.
Yeah. If I were to give this, a score out of 10, and I'll even go back to our original constant collectible scoring sheet, I give this a mint, but a 1 out of 10, I give it a 9.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would agree with you, and I would say a 9 just because you could tell that some things were edited out, and I think there's more stuff that they had filmed that they left out of the show that probably could have helped it, but I think because of timing wise, they had to remove some things. But yeah, definitely. All right, so let's move on to the Expanse season 2, episode 6. I believe it was called Paradigm Shift, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
There's a bit of a jump in the story, it felt like, from the last episode to this episode.
Well, only slight.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much transpired between the last episode and this.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the last episode, Miller was on Eros with what's her face, who was all ingrained in the alien goo. But they crashed on Venus. He convinced Julie to crash Eros on Venus opposed to Earth. But not much actually transpired between the last two episodes. I'd say maybe just a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah, because you could tell there's distance between where we were. Some of the stuff, and I don't know if it was just the environment that I was in that I was watching it or the mood. Sometimes I was taken out when they were talking about the rocket history, from 137 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, okay, what's this? And then all of a sudden, present day.
Yeah.
And then they'd go back to him in the rocket ship again, present day. And I'm like, stop.
Yeah. Every time they came back from commercial break, it was, all about, the drive, this guy developed.
Yeah.
And then it'd be a small scene that it cut back to, present day.
Yeah. It kept yanking me out.
Oh, okay.
So, I'd be into, or I would get sucked into that and then present day. And I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Can I go back to this guy? Because, It is interesting how they're talking about the drive, which is in the ship that's used. He talks about how, when we're doing this, the G's and what it does to the body, which in the episode before, you could see when they were chasing Eros that they had to get injected by that substance in order to keep their bodies from basically breaking down. You got to see what happened to the bodies or a body when they were in such G's, within the ship. So I thought it was kind of neat, but I almost felt like, okay, where are we going with this? Because I didn't feel like we really needed that explanation unless it's going to tie in. I mean, I know they did a little snippet like, oh, this is going to be the biggest, revelation since this such and such a drive, which is what they're talking about. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if we really needed that in the story.
Well, they go over that because it's the Epstein drive.
Yes.
And they go over that when they're actually looking at the nuclear rockets, because they have that up on the display, and she's actually diving into it to dismantle certain things so that they wouldn't go live again. And you actually see a portion come out, a diagrammatical whatever, piece that says Epstein drive. So they all have them within even these rockets. So he's key to all this interstellar travel. So they're tying it in gradually. I think there's going to be something possibly in the next episode that actually I think might tie it in even more.
I hope so. And
all you see is this guy just starting out, and he's going fast, and he's continuously getting faster and faster and faster, and
I mean, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed that. But then when we yanked back out, I was kind of like, wait, what? Huh? And then I had to resituate and then get into the present story. And then I get yanked out again. And now I'm in the past. I get what it is. I think it was either maybe the editing that just kind of pulled me out. Or like I said, maybe it was my situation and the mood that I was in. And I was just having a hard time with it because it is a crucial part. Because we're on the verge of, basically expanding onto Mars. They're talking about what Mars wants to do. This is 137 years ago. And because of this drive, what else do we get to do now because of this Epstein? So it's pretty cool. But as the story progresses in the present day, we have this butting of the heads between because of the rockets that were launched from Earth. Holden, I like his character, and he has a head on his shoulders that is very conscious about what people are doing and how they're doing it. He's got this this gut feeling like, we left some nasty stuff on that rock. We need to get rid of it. We have to destroy it, because regardless of where it ends up, someone's going to use it for bad, and then you've got the other story where he is headbutting with the head of
Fred Johnson.
Yes, thank you. Where they're headbutting because Fred Johnson now has all these drives from the
30
rockets.
Yeah.
So, so now we've got more tension there. And then, of course, we've got the story going on Earth where, the United Nations basically knows, hey, you were in cahoots. This is because of you.
Right.
So, we're gearing up to some ugly. Which,
yeah, and of course, you have Holden, who really wants to stay completely neutral, but everyone who he encounters tells him, pick a side. He doesn't want to pick a side. He's tired of the sides. So, but yeah, we get to where they're on that moon off of Jupiter, I believe, where it's I believe it's a colony, growing colony, for food, and that's where the battle starts. You're kind of going, holy cow, what's going on? And towards the end of the episode, it looks like that there's only one survivor, and of course, it's the one Marine chick, who the character is just, ugh.
Yeah.
But you're looking at her and what is actually standing over her.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaky looking. I mean, it's a person, looks like, but they're in some weird suit, or they've been affected by the virus, or some maybe alteration of the virus, or whatever it is. But of course, in the previews, it shows her that she's either captured or she's in some kind of medical base. So she survives the attack, obviously, but looks like the rest of her crew does not.
Yeah, it looks like they basically get wiped out. And the way this episode ended with that creature or whatever it is hovering over her, you're like, okay, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
There's one thing that kind of jumps out at me too, is that we're introduced to the doctor, the Iturbi, I think was his name. He, basically wants to go to Venus. He's like, you can pull these strings, you can get me there. I think we've got another crazy doctor on our hands.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, you've read the book, so you kind of know where we're going, but it's speculating for me who hasn't read the book. I almost feel like he wants to get his hands dirty.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's interesting too that Naomi fooled Holden into destroying that, the proto-molecule, where it is.
Mm-hmm.
She never actually fired that rocket into the sun. It was just a simulation. The rocket's still sitting there next to that asteroid. So it'll be interesting to see if she tries to use this as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, there's something that's going on there. I think when you look at the title of the episode, the paradigm shift, it does some things up. We have a lot of alliances that are going to start changing. You saw it in all the different crews. You saw it between different crews, different factions. And so I think you know what? I'm not sure. Are we halfway through the season?
We're coming up on the halfway point.
Okay, so that's I feel like we're at that part where we're going to see a shift, and then the season's going to go a different direction and lead us up to another, nice cliffhanger, as we could say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, because we are looking, let's see, they've got it listed so far at 13 episodes. So, yeah, basically we're
a third of the way in.
Yeah.
Across the quarter.
So, so we're almost there. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's a perfect title for the season. So, but let's stick in space and let's head over to the Rebels. I love spy stuff. This one was pretty cool. Very, again, we talked about it in the show previously and in our other webs show, about Thrawn and how cunning he is. and how smart he is. Um, this one, he does play a good game.
Oh yeah, very much so. And through all the secretive stuff going on, and the way things were done, they were done to almost perfection. You
Mm-hmm.
know, regarding Fulcrum, but the master tactician, comes into play here. The guy who thinks outside the box, the person who's so super observant, and he figures everything out. I think probably less than halfway through the actual episode, but he just eludes onto something else. Then, of course, at the very end, he just goes, "Yeah, Callus is obviously Fulcrum." Um, so it's definitely a change. He had his chance to get out, but thinking that he had framed somebody else, and basically that frame job just failed on him. So it should be interesting to see what transpires here.
Yeah, yeah, and I love the addition of Colonel Yularen.
Yeah,
because we know him from the Clone Wars. He was, in charge of the ships. He was the main guy that, was going between Anakin and all the clones and Obi-Wan. We know he is if I remember correctly, he's also the gentleman that is sitting inside the Death Star at the table with Tarkin,
correct.
next to the empty chair. Now we're getting him in here. He's pretty smart himself, which is why he's in the position that he is in. And, working together with Thrawn, they both come to that realization that, this was too easy. And so then they figure out who Fulcrum is because of how everything just was way too simple and just kind of presented itself.
Right.
Yeah, I want to see more of this guy. He got a little bit of a tidbit in this show, but I want to see more and how they use him because he's supposed to be, pretty tough guy.
Yeah, it's this season is reemerged. The second half, whatever you want to call it, really strong. And of course, the added effect of Thrawn. I mean, even how he figured out the bounty hunter helmet that Ezra Bridger had on. The artwork, the coloring,
Yes.
the cat, all that stuff. I mean, this is, like I said before, someone who's highly observant and knows his stuff, knows art, knows all this stuff. So this is one of the reasons why I just love this character in the original expanded universe.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was pretty fun. I like that they got away. Of course, they had to. I like that Callus basically sacrificed himself to allow them to get away. He thinks that he's pulled the wool over their eyes when in actuality they know he's Fulcrum. So I'm curious on where this goes.
Yeah, it's a shame. Callus has become a very likable character because he is the new spy. But even before that, he was a good, solid enemy for the Star Wars Rebels. Somebody you still like.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got only a couple episodes left, really.
Yeah, and it's kind of do or die time where we find out whether or not they're gonna go for a season 4.
Yeah. The way the last episode sounds, I don't know because they're calling it 0 hour. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes left. So we have Secret Cargo, which is on March 4th. So just in a couple of days, and it's basically as a routine refueling miss. The ghost crime suddenly, that's weird. So apparently they're dealing with a rebel leader, which if you've seen the previews, we're talking about Mon Mothra. So she's making an appearance, which is, yeah, that's what I meant.
The giant flying thing from Godzilla. Yeah,
that's right. Yes. That would be awesome. We have flying whales in space. Why not? Okay. And then after that, there's Double Agent Droid on the 11th. And then we have the episode I'm really waiting for, Twin Sons, on the 18th.
Yeah. The
That
showdown.
that is
Kenobi
going to be awesome.
versus Maul.
Kenobi is back against Maul. Can't wait to see what they do in there. And then on March 25th, at the end of the month, it's 0 Hour, and that's the last episode. So
So sad.
I know. And then we won't know what's going on. Hopefully, so they're going to tie that up at the end of March. We have Star Wars Celebration hitting in April. We're going to get some information, most likely.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a lot of information comes out
Me
at
too.
the Celebration in Orlando.
Yeah. So, but that's it. I mean, that's where we are with our shows. We're done with Taboo. We'll stick with the Expanse and Rebels until we exhaust all of our stuff, and then we'll move on to something else. Oh man! All right. So Chad, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ChadGriffin12, Instagram at DJ Kilt, on Facebook at Chad Goodwin, and of course at our website, constantcollectible.com, under Goodies Publication Audit and Goodies Guide to the Galaxy.
Right on. And I'm Simon. You can find me over at C_collectible for Twitter, the same for Instagram. Our website is constantcollectible.com, where you can find me, and our email is constantcollectible@gmail.com. We are live every Thursday night, typically after our earlier show, the show. And come visit us over at constantcollectible.com. We'll be back next week to talk more of and spoil more for you. So hope to see you then.
Take care, everybody.
Yes, take care and love your shows.